Yo, today we're taking care of a really small but really annoying issue that's keeping this car from shifting perfectly. The car's got about 120,000 miles on it these days, and it's right around now where the car just kind of needs a little bit more TLC, little squeaks, little rattles, small issues turn into like medium-sized issues, and then eventually into big issues. So my philosophy is to take care of those things as soon as possible, because for one, you could probably save yourself a pretty big headache down the road. And when you're trying to have fun, you're trying to focus on what's in front of you, it's just so tough, man, because those little annoying issues are just in the back of your brain bugging you. So the problem I'm having is that the clutch pedal on the far left here is beginning to stick a little bit at the very bottom of the throw, which is not a big deal. It definitely doesn't stop me from driving the car, and it's not that annoying, but it is something that I kind of think about every now and again. And I can't help but feel that it's going to get a little bit worse with time. So today we're going to do three things. We're going to replace the clutch master cylinder, we're going to do a little bit of maintenance on the clutch slave cylinder, and then we're going to bleed the system, and then hopefully that should cure the problem. But if not, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So we're kind of zoomed in here. This is the clutch pedal right here, and the clutch master cylinder is right up there. You can see that the camera's kind of focusing on it. I actually don't think it's bad. I really don't think that that part is bad at all. But I want to start here because, for one, this is probably the cheapest way to go about diagnosing the issue. And two, I have a brand new one of these just sitting around collecting dust. So I'm going to start here on the off chance that the clutch master cylinder is developing a little bit of friction in the piston, which I really don't think is the issue. But in case it is, then we might be able to hit the nail on the head by starting here. So they usually recommend something like a turkey baster to get the fluid pulled out of here before you uninstall the master. But you can also just stick a rag in there and soak up the fluid. So next, I'm going to undo the hard line, and you can see that the line starts way down there. And I bought this super fancy little wrench, so I'm hoping this does the trick. Cool. I finally got the hard line undone. It's kind of stuck in there, so I wasn't really able to pull it out, but I think it'll be easier once I have a little bit of play with this guy. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull that little yoke pin that you kind of see there. That guy right there. I can twist this. Does she spin? I see what I have to do, but it's pretty weird. Ouch. Ooh, that one's gonna hurt, dude. Oh, baby, that one hurt. Oh. Bam. Way easier the second time. Pulled a couple of trim pieces off to get a little bit better access to the nuts that we have to undo. So if you look up there, you can see the two nuts that are holding the posts that are connected to the master. So I went out and bought these because I'm a little baby, and I was told that these would make my life easier. I've never owned one of these little wobble sockets, but they look pretty cool. Look at that. It's like a party. Oh, wow. Pretty easy. Okay, so now time to stick the party socket all the way up there and see if we can get it where we want it to go. Wow, that was so easy. Damn it, dude, the hard line is stuck, dude. What the flip? Hey, man, I loosened you. You're supposed to give me the hard line. That's the deal. Get with the program. Ta-da! Okay, so here's the old unit. I pulled the little rubber guy off here to the side, and here's the new one. This has probably been replaced at some point, and the new one looks almost exactly the same. This one is a little bit more smooth. This one has a little bit more resistance in the piston, but this is also brand new. So I don't think this is gonna be the solution to the issue that we're kind of chasing, but we're gonna install the new one anyway, just so that we can have a nice, crisp, brand new pedal feel. Took a couple of quick minutes to kind of get a towel in there, and it just makes such a big difference, man, because normally the master is in the way, so you can't quite reach a whole lot down here, and this is already such a cramped space, but I was able to kind of squeeze a couple of fingers in, and it looks so good, man. Super happy I did that. Okay, so now I'm gonna reinstall the brand new master. So this is the yoke pin, if you remember, and before I throw this guy in, I'm actually gonna put a little bit of grease on it because it's metal on metal, and I don't want it to rattle or make any noise or anything like that. A little bit of grease on the retainer clip is probably unnecessary, but I don't think is a bad idea. Okay, and once you have it all fitted up nice and tight, then it should look a lot like that. Okay, so now we should be good to grab our party socket and put those two nuts back on. Dude, heck yeah, man, there we go. Dude, I got it. So easy. Nice. Dang, everybody online was saying this was hard, man. You guys are a bunch of wimps. Okay, so I wanted to get a super quick shot of this angle because I think this is the ideal setup if you want to do this job nice and fast. So you need a party socket in the middle, you need a long 12, you need the extension here. This is a 3/8 extension, and then I have this fancy little ratchet that kind of does this like swivel head thing. So that's all it takes. for part 2, we're gonna have to go underneath the car. The front is facing that way. This is obviously the transmission, but we're underneath here because what we're gonna be working on is this guy. This is the clutch slave cylinder. And we're gonna be greasing the contact point between the tip of the clutch slave cylinder as well as the fork in the transmission, because that contact point is also responsible for part of the pedal feel that you get inside the cabin of the car. So if we re-grease that point, we'll probably get a better pedal feel overall, and it helps eliminate squeaky clutch pedals down the road. Okay, cool. So there's a line. Ow! Jeez, that hurt. So annoying. Yeah. Oh, whoa, that's not good. Ah, dang it, came apart. Okay, there we go. Okay, so clutch slave is on the bench, and it actually came apart during the removal, which I don't think is a bad thing. It doesn't look like there was any damage. So the reason why we pulled this entire part is because of this. Hopefully you can see that, but there's actually a little bit of a dimple on this upper section of the slave, and basically what happens over time is this guy actuates, a little dimple can form here, and basically what happens is that this dimple pushes away the grease and then it causes noise and it just results in a bunch of squeakiness. That can also lead to a little bit of friction in the pedal, and the whole point of this video is that we're trying to get the most buttery pedal feel possible. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grind away this little section right here, add a bunch of grease and reinstall it. So I have an old sheet of 220, and all we're gonna do basically is we're just gonna grind away this little piece right here. I think it also helps to kind of pivot the ball a little bit in a few different angles because it sort of helps maintain the circular surface that we're trying to keep right here. Next, we're gonna add a little bit of high temp grease, and we're gonna be super generous with it because we want that extra buttery feel. Okay, so there you have it. This should be ready to go back in the hole. Super clean, nice and happy, man. Look at him, check him out. All he needed was a little bit of lube. Grab a very liberal amount of grease and we're just gonna throw her in there. Bam. As far as I know, you can't really overdo it, so we're gonna throw all the grease in that boy right there. So you do have to play with it a little bit, but it's actually a lot easier to fit this guy if there's no fluid in it. So, okay, I got the line back on finally. Okay, cool. 22 pounds. Okay, slave cylinder is officially clicked in, so we are now 2 parts closer to our perfectly shifting sports car. Just in time too, because let me tell you, today was a hot one. Okay, so part 3 is pretty easy. All we have to do now is bleed the clutch. Step 3 is pretty simple, just bleeding via gravity method. So I have the master open up top, got the lid off, and I'm refilling it as I see the level go down. Back there you can see that I have the line and the valve is currently open. Pretty soon it's going to be a good amount of fluid going down the line and then into the bucket. Quick update, it's a little bit later in the day and I ended up running out of brake fluid last minute, so I had to go run over and buy some, but we have a little bit of daylight left and I'm still just kind of bleeding the system here. I was like a bottle and a half deep into bleeding the clutch line, and I was like, what the flip is going on, dude? There's no way it takes this much fluid to bleed the system. So I give the clutch one good kick and then all I hear is pop. There's literally a massive hole on the side of it, dude. We literally destroyed this thing. That's so sad. Okay, so I'm gonna have to figure something out because the car needs to be drivable. No negotiations, like no ifs, ands, or buts in one day, so I have no time to be waiting for anything to be mailed in or whatever. Dude, look at me like just creating more work for myself. This feels so stupid. I'm supposed to be like improving the car, not making it worse. We're gonna be doing some really fun driving really soon, so the car has to be able to perform. So anyway, I guess I'll update you and let you know how it goes. Day 2, this is a 1-day project. So I just got back from the Honda dealer and I was able to source the only clutch slave cylinder for the S2000 in all of San Diego County. Let me show you what we got, because the part that I bought isn't what I was looking for originally, but it's actually perfect for today's video because the whole goal is to get the car to shift as buttery as possible. So this is a genuine OEM clutch slave cylinder, but this is for an AP1, and the AP1 is the early model S2000, which was 2000 to 2003, and this is what we're going to be using to replace the OEM AP2 later generation clutch slave cylinder. So it is a plug and play affair as far as going from AP2 backwards to AP1, but the difference is that the AP2 design, the facelift generation, has a delay valve built into the cylinder. According to what I've researched, and all the research I've done was pretty much watching the DIY guy's YouTube video, is I guess people were dumping their clutches and just blowing up transmissions. So basically what this delay valve is supposed to do is it's supposed to mitigate some of the wear and tear on on your drivetrain components if you decide that you want to take your S out and just start banging gears left and right. So the argument is that the AP1 design allows for better, more direct shifting because it doesn't have that delay valve built into it. So since I did myself the favor of exploding this guy last night, we're gonna be replacing it with the new AP1 design. You ever get like a sore neck the day after working on your car because you're like this the entire time? It sucks. So since I've got everything all apart, I'll kind of show you what this looks like in case you're curious, but the slave actually sits right here, kind of like you were seeing earlier, and this is the fork. This is the clutch fork that this guy sits in. Somebody let me know if this is a lot of play or if this is normal or whatever. And then the head on it rests inside this cup just like that. Hopefully you can see that through my hand. So the slave is fully installed and we don't want to pop this one too, so what you can do is you can actually pull back this rubber boot, shine a light in there and double check to make sure that the head on the slave cylinder is making full contact with the cup that it's supposed to rest in. I wanted to pause really quick because I have some good news. This is the clutch line on my AP2 and here is the new slave from the AP1. You can see that the prong here is literally too tall and won't go in, so okay, I think that looks pretty good. Quick little chop and she fits. Time to click her back on and then hopefully we don't run into any more issues beyond this. Okay, so bleeding this thing for the second time now, and the fluid this time around looks a lot better. I think I might have put in old fluid last time by mistake, but went out, got some new fluid, have the new slave fully installed. I think we should be good to put the car down. Going for our first drive in the S, we have new hardware, new fluid, everything is buttoned up and good to go, so I'm pretty stoked on it. I've actually been pumping it during the bleeding process with my hand. I haven't touched it with my foot just yet because I'm kind of on this kick lately. I don't want to get too deep into it, but basically I'm kind of training my brain to delay satisfaction, and the idea is that you do all the hard work on the front end and then you let the good stuff all just kind of hit you at once at the end once it's all kind of said and done. So anyway, we're about to go for our first drive. I'm gonna turn the car on and I'm gonna, I don't know, just see how it feels. I'm gonna start by just kind of feathering the clutch a little bit. Can you hear that? Ah, it feels buttery. So cool. Okay, okay. Now I'm gonna give it a solid pump. Whoa! Oh, dude, that was awesome. Okay, one more time. Wow. Yo, that feels amazing. Dude, that feels so crazy. Dude, it feels, oh my God, it feels brand new. Whoa! Yo, that feels amazing. Just kind of some thoughts here. I think part of it has to do with the fact that I just haven't bled the clutch on this car maybe ever. It just never needed it. I mean, the car's been super cherry since I've owned it. It really hasn't needed anything until recently. And a lot of this stuff it didn't really even need. Like you saw at the beginning of the video that the clutch master was perfect, you know, and the clutch slave was also perfect. None of this needed to be done, but doing it is so worthwhile, cuz so worthwhile. It literally is so nice. Yo, if you care about driving, if driving matters to you, like if you're not just like owning a car just to kind of watch it rot in your garage, but you're actually concerned with getting the most satisfaction out of whipping your little vehicle no matter what you own, then I highly recommend this mod. I mean, it's not even a mod, it's like service, you know, it's just basic maintenance, but it's so worthwhile, man. I'm already so upset at the fact that it took me this long to do this. It's like the most trivial thing, the most trivial, simplest, like, it's, man, yeah. So anyway, you know why I'm here, you know what I'm about, you know that I'm about the drives, you know that I care about driving, you know that the satisfaction that comes with driving is what matters to me, and it's what keeps me going, and it's really the motivation that keeps me juiced on making these videos. So anyway, alright, that's enough talking for the end of the video. Thank you again for checking this out. I will see you in the next one.